Hi, I have spoken about this before, on a number of occasions in fact. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how the world overall is becoming far more spiritual. Despite what the media tells us about all the things that are going on in the world, the bad things, the violence, the drama, which of course gets them the sales and gets them the views that they're after, doesn't really reflect what the world is like. If you watch YouTube, just surf YouTube a bit and have a look at the various things that are posted there. All the advances of civilization, all the technical abilities which are coming on stream, but more so than that, the amount of people who are now willing to talk about their more personal experiences, particularly when it comes to the metaphysical, the paranormal, the things we used to shy away from, the things science, the so-called scientific fraternity, would have nothing to do with at one stage. That's all changed. Take a look at some of the non-NDEs, near-death experiences, now placed on YouTube. There are hundreds of them. Hundreds of people who have died on the operating table or in an accident or something like that and have been clinically dead, proclaimed dead by the medical fraternity, the straight line. And yet they've come back and they've told us about their experiences on the other side, the so-called other side, the next life, the spiritual life, heaven, whatever you want to call it. They all come back and tell us how wonderful it is there. With a few exceptions, some had a pretty bad time, but nearly all of them are very surprised. The atheists, the non-believers, the agnostics, all those who thought, well, when I die, it's just going to be nothing, null and void, blackness. That hasn't been the case. And this is becoming more and more prevalent as being placed on YouTube and other sites. People willing to tell us about the most significant things that have happened in their life, particularly if they've died and come back. They feel impelled to tell the truth of their lives to others. Now we can remain cynical and say, oh, they all made it up, the whole lot, the whole 500 or 1,000, all with roughly the same sort of experiences, the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel and so forth, common virtually to all of them. Now, why would they lie? Why would they go out on the limb? For their moment, their 15 minutes of fame? No. They had this happen to them. This was their experience. This was their truth. And they want to tell us about their truth. Lots and lots of people are tuning in. Eventually, the most cynical will be drawn to that fact. We are immortal souls, having an earth life experience. We're not the body. We're not the emotion of the mind that we're temporarily carrying. We are something else again. To my way of thinking, this is one of the greatest revolutions which is taking place, and it's taking place in our lives. It all started around about the late 1960s, and it's just growing exponentially. I really do believe that by the next 50, 60, 100 years, our world will be united as one. Things will be very different than they are today, and they'll be different in a very, very positive way.